Alrighty. Good evening, everybody. How we all doing tonight? This is a bit of a bonus stream. There wasn't supposed to be a stream tonight. Now you might be like, wait, what bonus stream? But this is what we've been playing all this time. This isn't a bonus stream. Yeah, this is a bonus stream. This is the GameCube version of Baten Kaitos. Because we've been streaming the HD remaster, which has just come out, but there was a bunch of points where I felt like the HD version just wasn't running as well as the original when I had tested the original, and I'm pretty convinced that's the case now. So I wanted to sort of do a point of comparison stream, I guess, so that you guys could sort of see where I'm coming from on this. Because I'm thinking we might just switch over to the GameCube version. Yes, well, so so you say. We indeed have. I've got this shit set. Where are we? The perfect example. So for starters, like, obviously, the game itself looks a little chunkier in the GameCube version because it's running at a lower actual resolution. But, like, I feel like it looks better. It's more appropriate for its graphic style, rather than the more smoothed out HD version. Also, I mentioned this a bunch of times while playing the HD version. I don't like it being in 16:9. It feels much better running in 4:3, and there's also a bunch of points in the HD version where it still does just run in 4:3 and does a weird windowing effect. But you can see straight up here, the cloud on the street here is much smoother. Like the kids are running around at full pace. There's some stuff I can't really explain. It just feels better. The HD edition sort of feels sluggish in a way that I can't properly explain, but I don't know if it's my head. But yeah, this is the big one. Look at this. Full speed. On the HD edition, this was running at I don't even know, half frame rate. It just goes on this screen. For the English dub, this does have an English dub for the GameCube version. I'm using an Undub because that's me. Yeah, but the Final Fantasy X HD took a few versions to get good. I think the final version of it that has all the extra options, like the extra soundtrack options and whatnot, is good. But I think the earlier FF10 HD that didn't have as many options available, I would say is less good. But yeah, that's the other thing. You can clearly see we're running, at a lower overall resolution, but I think it suits the level of detail for the game better. And 3D objects versus 2D objects stand out much better, whereas in the HD edition it feels a bit smoothed over, but not in a good way. Again, it's sort of hard to explain. It's an aesthetic thing. And I will say, I don't have rose-tinted glasses for this game. I've never played this game before. I'm making my points of comparison based on me testing the game a couple of days ago versus playing the HD edition for the last 2 days. This isn't me coming in playing a childhood favorite of mine or anything like this. I am experiencing this game for the first time at this point, and based on what I've experienced, I prefer the GameCube version. We'll also jump into combat as well, so you can sort of see. Like, combat just feels smoother. Again, that's hard to quantify, and obviously gonna be sort of hard to get across on stream, but it might, like, the animations and everything feel smoother. I also prefer the original user interface over the HD edition user interface. I much prefer the font in this version. But like the game just feels more responsive. Again, I realize that's hard to quantify. Like for a viewing audience. But like you might be able to like see, as I said, everything just sort of feels smoother. I mean, technically, I could employ some cheaty powers to make it happen easier on this end. But anyway, oh, this was another thing I was talking about. So I thought like some of the shit was wrong in the HD edition. So like this guy in like doing his thing in the waterfall here, you basically can't see him in the HD edition, whereas like everything sort of works much better here. It's like the you can clearly see him, and like you can make out all the details and everything. Whereas in the HD edition, it's like I basically couldn't see the guy there. There was some other stuff I wanted to highlight as well. Crop the pre-renders? I'm not certain. So the menu is massively different in this. It's a hugely detailed menu. Again, and I prefer the look and operation of this menu to the HD edition. Again, no nostalgia on my part. I've not played this before. I don't have a like, this is what I grew up with, so this is what I like. Like, this is just based on my direct experience with the game versus the HD edition. The dub is a bit of a mess, but also I'm going to assume they just didn't bother to like relicense it. The original dub is sort of famous for being not awful, but not good. I wanted to do a couple of things. We need to... Okay, so we got the cheese. We need to start the yogurt cooking. But like, look, the font is much better in this as well. It's not fucking Comic Sans. And again, like, all this, like, the pre-rendered stuff just feels better. Oh, I don't actually know if he, like, madly desyncs in the original. Because it takes a little while for him to desync in the HD edition. There's also, like, the subtle, like, lighting and everything that they've done. It just looks better. It doesn't... It's... Everything feels more like a cohesive whole, rather than the HD edition, which, like, bits and pieces kind of stand out awkwardly. I feel like I lack a good vocabulary to properly explain what I mean. But yeah, I don't think his timing is shifting at all in this one. There was one thing I wanted to... house with the wife. This one. So in the HD edition, they add some social commentary. Got some screenshots actually for my own archive's sake. You can see what that is on the original version here. And then, where did I put it? Here somewhere. That's it in the HD edition. No yikes in the original. That's actually a decent, like, you can sort of, like, one-to-one compare here. Like, the character models... They look too clean as such, too detailed, too high def. It's like it's very much a preference thing, I realize, but I much prefer how it looks in the original versus like how it looks in the HD version. But yeah, so that's also another good comparison that you can see. Like in the HD version, it's got the 16:9 going on, whereas in the original, it's the 4:3 where the camera moves basically. But awkwardly in the HD edition, you might have noticed there's a few times where, like, it's already displaying the full scene in a 4:3, so they do this weird like windowing effect on the outside. Because obviously you can't, like, you don't want to stretch it, because that would look terrible. But then they're just kind of stuck with that windowing effect. Yeah, I think we'll play through the capital segment here, because that, you know, comes up to a nice boss fight and everything. Just to sort of make a nice solid point of comparison. Oh, actually, I think I'm up to go fight the rainbow spider, I believe. Yeah, this is one of those scenes I was talking about. It's just already full on the 4x3, so they do like a weird like windowing effect in the HD edition. Yeah, the game itself just feels like it plays smoother as well. Yeah, as I've said a few times, that's a little harder to quantify from a viewer's standpoint. That's just the game feels better to play for me. Yes, that hasn't been explained quite yet, story-wise, why that's the case. People usually have two wings, they're like wings of the soul kind of thing. Why he has one normal wing and one metal wing, we have not had explained yet in the story. We do know that his grandfather made him the metal wing, and apparently it's a fairly impressive piece of craftsmanship, and it's also very rare for people outside of the Empire to have metal wings instead of just using their natural wings. It's just like, again, I think it's just because it's not. Oh, hello. It's odd. Normally you got to do other shenanigans to get the branches. Because it's not HDified as such. Like, I think a lot of it just looks better because it was designed to be this way graphically. So like the soul of the enemies, when they die, the effect I think looks better in the original version rather than in the HD version. Like that flickering soul there. Yeah, Doomington, how's it going? Just like, as a whole, I just prefer the UI of the original.
ま、こんなもんだろ。
I don't think the HD edition had this, but there's this cool, like, when you open the menu, there's like a screenshot almost of like the last, like combat you were doing. Hopefully I'm sort of explaining my point here. I will actually put the poll, the Twitter poll up there, so give people an idea of what I'm doing here. Yeah, like the HD edition doesn't offer anything new content-wise or like mechanically or anything, so we're not missing out on anything by playing this version. It's basically just aesthetics and well, gameplay functionality for me. That's less of an issue for you guys, more of an issue for me. This just feels better to play. Well, so the argument I would make for the remaster would be maybe people have like played or seen the original and are just curious to see how things are in the remaster, because like obviously already by playing the remaster, we can, you know, make these direct comparisons against the original. Maybe people are looking, you know, have already played the game themselves and are looking to see the remasters. Yeah, just sort of like what people are wanting out of the stream, I guess. If you're looking for me to have a good time and enjoy the game, then yeah, the GameCube version is definitely gonna be the go there, I think. Basically, I can see value in covering the HD remaster. Hey, Wiggly, yes, it's fucking hot. Ah, fucking weather. I put my aircon on for the first time in many months. It's too damn hot. I thought it wasn't too bad. And I got home from work, and like my apartment was just like cooking. I'm like, oh, okay, no, we're closing the windows. AC's going on. Hey, Huff, you survived your flight. You are. Well, I assume you're gonna be jet lagged to fuck, which is why you're awake now. Like this is me operating hours, not normal people operating hours. I say as Wiggly is also here. But yeah, we're currently basically doing a comparison of the GameCube version of Baten Kaitos versus the HD remaster, because, like, I think the GameCube version's better. Like, even on this street, like, the light glows in the door are much more sort of prominent in the GameCube version. Now, this is the only, like, real negative to the GameCube version, and I don't know, like, it's gotta be intentional, but it's both the Japanese and the English audio for this game in its original version sounds like it's coming down a pipe. It's weird. Sort of, Sion. This may seem familiar to you. Indeed, this may seem familiar to you. Slightly familiar, but then slightly different. We are playing the GameCube version. I played through the first few hours myself just for, like, curiosity's sake. And then I was like, you know what? I legitimately prefer the GameCube version. And I just wanted to sort of give people a... example of, I guess. Those two are still cooking. But yeah, I just gone over a lot of my reasons for, but I feel like the GameCube version feels like it plays better, which is obviously hard to bring that across, like, just in a viewing experience sense. Like, the HD edition feels really sluggish, and like that is, like, at least directly visible in like the areas like here that have, like, the big clouds and everything. you can at least very easily see that the GameCube version runs better directly. But just to play, it feels better. Obviously, the UI is quite different, and the font is quite different. Much to the original's advantage. The font is much better. And again, I feel the need to, like, really stress this isn't a rose-tinted glasses case for me. I didn't play this game as a kid. I have owned it for a very long time, but I never played it. This is still basically my first experience with the game, so it's not me just going, I prefer it this way because that's what I know. No, in this it is like I just straight up prefer the GameCube version over the HD version. But yeah, we've the pinned link is me running a Twitter poll, basically asking the question, do I switch to the GameCube version? Because I want to play through the game. I've been really looking forward to playing through the game. It's just for me, I think I would enjoy playing the GameCube version more. But I could understand if, from a viewer's standpoint, you would prefer me to do the HD edition. There's a bunch of detail and such that I feel comes out better in the GameCube version versus the HD edition, which sort of HD-ifies things a little too far.
Yatsu wa yahari ano fune no naka ka. To naru to yakata no teppen da na. Shera no ken wa ato mashi da. Saki ni Giacomo o tsukamaeru.
But yeah, like the big thing for me, like mechanically, is it just feels better to move around and play the game. Which, as I said, that's much harder to quantify. For like a viewing audience, but like hopefully you can see this is just sort of smoother. And like, we've got obviously like lower resolution textures and everything because we're playing obviously the GameCube version instead of the Switch version. But I think it better suits the presentation. Well, the big one will be that sequence a little bit later when we escape the mansion, where everybody's running through the Cloud Street. And like one thing, I don't know whether it's immediately obvious to everyone else. Like I get a bit like fussy about fonts in games. We've had this discussion a few times, but I much prefer the font in this version instead of the font they've used in the HD edition. We do, if we can, it's basically just chance. We do want to get like some photos of the soldier boys here because they go for a lot. Thank you. Hey, Alice, this is Baten Kaitos. It's a sort of card-based, well, sort of. It's literally card-based. Different cards do different things during offensive and defensive phase. The bananas are a healing item. You string different cards together for different combos. The camera is a bit of a wild one, I'll give you that. That is fairly unusual mechanic, but the way you make money in this game is by selling photos of enemies. You have like defensive cards that are good on the defensive turn, so like armor and shield there to reduce incoming damage, and then on the offensive turn we have swords and combo abilities and whatnot. And then you also have a lot of like, we don't have access to much at the moment as far as like interesting interactions, but there's a bunch of like items that have different effects when used with other items mid-combat. Like if you have the little bonsai tree and you use that at the same time as a carving knife, you can carve off branches of it mid-combat. Yeah, basically, he is a Spooderman. You can take pictures of yourself as well. You can absolutely take selfies. They're not worth much. The enemies are worth more. But in a pinch, you can make monies off of make money off of selfies. Now this is gonna hurt because I don't have any defensive cards, so both shots straight through. How's the audio, by the way? I just realized the game might be a little loud. Sound is good? Alright. And I don't know the mechanics well enough of the game because I'm like playing through the game for the first time. There are, from what I'm aware, ways to like modify how good your camera shot is through use of like light and dark abilities before taking the photos. But I'm not sure exactly how all that like comes together yet. I pulled the audio down just a slight touch. You don't even see his corpse after that, just his soul floating off. Sent him to the fucking Shadow Realm. Literally. The ability was called like Demons of the Dark. Yeah, like, I actually prefer this deck menu. Again, it feels more responsive, and just sort of functions better than the HD edition. The menu is more intense. Like, when you first start the game up, it's more like, wow, holy shit, there's a lot going on in this menu. But once you know what you're doing, I think I prefer it.
楽勝だったな。
Like it just feels better to drive the game in the GameCube version. Like menuing feels better, combat feels better. Just like even just navigating like feels better. I really wish there were like proper reviews up for this game. I don't think they sent out any review code, which is why there isn't any. I don't know if I'm just like mad or if there is actually like performance issues.
おい、誰か来る。
連中、お目当てのものはどうにか手に入れることができたらしい。ほっとしたよ。連中がしくじった。な、それこそこちらがどんなとばっちりを食っていたことか。
誠にその通りで。それでロドルフォ様、あの娘はいかがいたしましょう。
勝利は任せる、好きにしろだとさ。いい気なもんだ。
Yeah, how's it going?
ジャコモと言ったか。たかだか兵隊の分際でこの私に指図する気か。クソ。
If you're still here, Sion, when I like mentioned the font thing, like just for point of comparison, this is the font in the HD version, like the font and the style of the text box in the HD version, and this is the font and text box in the original. I much prefer the original. Like some people are like, oh, fucking text box, who cares? But like, it's part of a cohesive whole of the presentation. Like the way you experience most of the game's details are through its text. Having an appropriate font is important. Having Comic Sans is not acceptable. Hey, Chrono Paladin, how's it going? I'm not familiar with Origins at all. As I've said a few times, like I don't have like a this isn't a rose-tinted glasses case. I don't have nostalgia for this game. I've not played through it or Origins before. Like I'm just like coming to experience the game now, and was just doing a sort of like I played through like the first hour or so in the GameCube version for my like own like point of comparison's sake, and now it's been more than just the first hour of the GameCube version, and I can say I definitely prefer the GameCube version over the HD version. The HD version has some, like, what do you call, quality of life stuff that might sell it for you. It has the, like, the cheats, basically, the, like, instant win combat, the speed ups and whatnot, and the auto save is probably the big one as far as quality of life go. But like most of that's irrelevant to me except for the auto save. But just like as I said, I need more people's opinions on the HD edition. I need to see if it's just me that like the actual like gameplay feels chunky for in the HD version, whereas the GameCube version feels much smoother.
バカな娘だ。帝国相手にそんな真似をしてただで済むと思っていたのか。皇帝の怒りに触れただけで組が飛んでもおかしくないのだぞ。どんな宝を夢見ていたのか知らないが。
しかし別に森から莫大なお宝を掘り出してきたという様子でもありませんでしたな。宝でないとすると、わざわざ事前に調査隊までよこして連中は月魂の森で何を。何も起こらなければよいのですが、あの森は昔からいろいろとその曰くがありますからな。
例の古い言い伝えか。呪われた魔物が封じられているとかいう。くだらん。連中が何をやろうとしているのかなどわしは知らんよ。お前も下手なことには首を突っ込まぬ方が身のためだぞ。あの娘のようになりたくなければな。娘は今は
あのまま客室に閉じ込めてあります。連中にかなり痛めつけられたようで。
明日にでも始末してしまえ。今度のことはさっさと終わらせて全て忘れてしまうのが一番だ。
承知いたしました。
Too smooth is what I would argue. Oh wait, do you mean like gameplay wise or like graphically? Because yeah, graphically, I feel like it's too smooth. Gameplay wise, HD version is like it. I don't know. It chugs. Like it feels like sluggish.
ゴルドバは間もなく出港する。少数の帝国兵が駐留するらしいが、それもわずかな間だろう。これでまた以前と変わらぬ暮らしに戻れるよ。こちらに火の粉が降りかからなかっただけまだマシだったと。おっと、そろそろ時間か。ゴルドバを見送りに行かねばな。せいぜい名残を惜しんでやろうではないか。
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it properly. I don't know if it's like a frame rate issue. Like it feels heavy.
ゴルドバってのはあの戦艦のことだな。どうやらもうすぐ動き出すようだ。あまり時間がないな。分かった。先にシェラを探そう。ジャコモの件は後回しだ。ほっといたらやばいことになりそうだしな、あいつ。さあ行こうぜ。グズグズしてられないぜ。
As I've said a few times, like you can definitely see it with Kaitos here. Like the HD edition definitely runs at a higher resolution. Like it's got higher textures. But I feel this better fits the aesthetic as a whole. I'd be very curious to I don't know if it then like drops from 60 to 30, but like there is a sequence in HD edition that we can definitely like show straight up proof of it like frame rate tanking. I definitely need to find some reviews for the HD edition. I wonder if there are any up yet. Is that like I guess they just didn't give out like review code for the game. Yeah, there's like no critic reviews for it. Does it? I don't know. See, I'm not too familiar with the speedrun for this. Does it, like, does the glitches and whatnot, whatever they'd use from the original, unless it's a glitchless run, do the glitches transfer? Though I suppose it's got the speed up stuff, so whether the categories would allow for those. Like the cheats, I don't know, depends. Obviously, like, the fastest way would be to, like, run it with the full speed up and the one-hit kill on everything. But then that defeats the point of the game.
おいシェラ、大丈夫か？
カラス来てくれたの。
I assume that'll probably become its own category. Well, I say that, like, I don't know how big the speedrunning scene for Baten Kaitos is. The only run I'm proper familiar with is the big meme run, the Hundo 2-week run.
待ってろ、今外してやる。大丈夫か？
But I've never sat down and watched a run proper for it because I've not played through the game before. So while obviously a speedrun is not a way to like really experience a story or everything at all, seeing a speedrun for a game that I intend to play is going to lead to some level of spoilers. Hey, Blackguard, how's it going? And yes, it is a weird issue with this first game, Fab. Both the English and the Japanese audio got some sort of weird echo effect on it. I will give the HD edition that. They fixed that. As for how's the remaster, we're here playing the GameCube version. So that should...
ミーマイ、あなたも一緒だったのね。ありがとう。心配しないで。
Like, I was really looking forward to playing Baten Kaitos. So we're gonna goddamn play Baten Kaitos. It's just, yeah, like, I prefer the GameCube version.
これでかなり楽になったわ。ありがとう、カラス。来てくれて。
Nah, it's... I can't... I wish I could explain it better. It feels better on the GameCube, just like from a gameplay standpoint. It's like also just the general aesthetic. Like, I think it's better with the like lower resolution textures and whatnot. I much prefer the font in this version, and the like the style of the text box as well. For once again, for point of comparison, this is what the font and text box looks like in the HD edition versus font and text box in the GameCube version. And you can sort of like see with the character models as well. They're a bit too clean, too high resolution, if that makes sense. They look sort of awkward as a result. Obviously, that's an aesthetic thing. That's going to be down to taste. But I've said it many times now. But this is not a case of rose-tinted glasses for me. I haven't played this game before. I'm not like just like preferring the version I played in my childhood, because I didn't play this as a child. I've not played it before. I genuinely prefer the GameCube version, having only experienced both within the last couple of days. Once we finish this, not in this case. I could be. I probably should be, but for the sake of what I was doing, it was much easier to do things this way. it wasn't... I didn't set out to play the GameCube version. I just wanted to look at it for a point of comparison. And then it got to the point of, like, I really prefer the GameCube version.
まったく俺はお前の乗り物じゃないんだぜ。
We'll get up to the point that, like, once we finish up in the mansion here, you'll see the big like lag comparison versus the HD edition when they run down that street.
その話は後で。まず連中から例のマグナスを取り返さないと。協力して、カラス。ありがとう。それじゃ早速奴らを追いかけましょう。
ああ、わかったよ。それじゃ一緒に行こうぜ、シェラ。
ミーマイ、あなたはどうする？
Emulation in general in the last few years has actually got to the point of being, like, I consider acceptable in a lot of cases. And I'm, like, you know me, I'm pretty pedantic about playing on actual hardware. But there's a lot of, like, emulation options now that are pretty much bang on. Not everything's perfect, but it's in a real good state. Obviously, I'm not doing, like, any emulation trickery or up-resing or anything. There's no overclocking on the CPU or anything. Basically, I've got it running as raw as possible. Had I, like, intended to do the GameCube version, I would have my actual hardware set up, because that's actually not that hard to get, like, going. There's not much fuckery with that, and my, like, GameCube and Wii stuff is all just in fine working order. And yeah, as I said, like, I definitely prefer the menus in this version. Like, these especially, like, the deck menus feel better in this version. It just controls more responsively, or, like, in a way that, like, feels better to do. Like, the menuing in the HD version feels a little clunk. Again, I feel like I need better vocabulary, better words to describe what I'm trying to say here than just clunk. Because that's where I'm at with it. Oh, this is clunk. So many times I can say clunk before it loses all meaning. Again, it's not just the aesthetic issue. It is, like, the whole package. did use my power of foresight this time to make sure I had milk and cheese ready for this place. Not be a yogurt and cheese. Oh, that's all it is a fireburst too. This one is much more important. She's one of the missing grandchildren. Did we... That's... yeah, okay, that is her class 2 item. Probably should have done that before I started screwing around with the deck, because now we got to fill out more deck slots. I am not very smart. No, class ranking up gives you more room in your deck and increases your hand size. Leveling up normally is just stats. As for doesn't that make your deck worse? Depends. This isn't like a regular kind of deck building game. I suppose if you wanted to go for like a proper like thin deck strat. If you don't fill up the deck, it automatically fills the blank slots with pass cards. I suppose technically, you could never class up. You don't have to. It's just that there are other benefits from classing up. You get a bigger hand size, your max combo increases, so you can like burn through your deck quicker. Ah, oops, that's... Didn't mean to do that right away. We gotta do a thing out on the map. There's... Yes, it increases your deck size to class rank up, but it also increases your hand size and your combo size. Combo being like how many cards you can play at once. There's the meme item. Once again. The shampoo. So the description. Try it for 2 weeks. Your hair won't be able to thank you enough. It'll be shiny and healthy. That is not a joke. You need to clock 2 weeks in-game time for this item to transform into its final form. Hence the meme item. Because like one of the big things for this game is it's like card evolution mechanic where like real time cards change. Don't know. I don't know that. I only know the shampoo because of the 100% speedrun that has to like just leave the game running for nearly 2 weeks. Still just as terrifying in the GameCube version. But yeah, like basically, I'm enjoying the game enough that I want to play through it. I really want to play the game. I just at the point where I was like, the HD version just didn't feel as good to me to play as the GameCube version. Like the combat for the most part runs fine in the HD version. It just feels sluggish every now and again.
蹴散らしてやるぜ。
ウィンドブロー、ライトフレア、クロノスブロー。
もらった。
Again, I really wish there were reviews out, because it could just be me. I could be mad.
させるかよ。
アクアバースト、アクアバースト。
さてと。
Now, one thing I will give the HD edition credit for, I don't seem to have a way to know if I've leveled up in this one.
ライトフレア、ファイヤーバースト。
Whereas the HD edition, it's very obvious, like how much you've leveled up, or how much XP you've got in the bank, I should say.
楽勝だ。 屋上はこの先みたいだな。問題はこの妙な仕掛けか。
大丈夫。 こに連れてこられた時に開けるところを見たわ。確かこの辺にスイッチがあった。ほら、ゾウのお腹のところにスイッチがあるでしょ。二人で同時に押せば開く仕組みよ。
ああ、これか。
ええ、カラスはそっちをお願いね。
わかった。
行くわよ。せーの。
よし、上へ急ごう。
Actually, kind of looking forward to this boss fight because he has the really sort of unique boss music.
遅かったか。お前たちは。来たか。やはりお前だったか、小僧。まさか生きていたとはな。ジャコモ、探したぜ。じいちゃんとフィーの仇。
It's got like a real budget Lubu feel to him.
貴様は今ここで地獄へ行け。
Again, the English script really kind of missed here in both the HD and the original. he's not you're going down. He straight up just said, "I'll send you to hell." There's a slight difference in tone there. One's mildly angrier than the other.
ファイヤーバースト、ウィンドフロー、ライトフレア。
Like I said, the really unique boss music. The rest of the game's soundtracks have been pretty like stylistically what you would expect, and then this comes at you. This is gonna hurt, but we do have multiple healing items.
フレアダークフレアファイヤーバースト
闇の翼に恐怖しろ。危険影羽。
Okay, that's much more obviously like dark birds. In HD edition, it just kind of looks like particle effects.
ライトフレア甘く見ないで魔術光の舞
我は闇なり我が声を聞け。デモンズ・ザ・ダーク。ライトフレ うなる剣よ疾風の牙となれ。危険セーラン。
残念だがここまでだ。お前と遊んでいる時間はないのだ。ゲルドブレイム皇帝がお待ちかねでな。失われた前代の神の遺産を。
待てジャコモ。くしょ
大丈夫カラス逃げないと。
God, just standing there, don't worry about it.
分かってる。
Ah, here we go. So remember this scene on HD edition was just like again, I question how did we get from there. Yes, the fruits definitely look a lot better in that sequence. How do we get from there to here? This is... the cloud effect looks good on the HD edition. It's just, like, that screen also seems to run at, like, half frame rate as a result.
ゲルドブレイム皇帝はどうやら呪われた古の力を復活させようとしているらしいわ。
それがあの森で呪われた神とかなんとかって言ってたやつなのか。
ええ、マルペルシュロ、呪われた邪神。その力は先の世界を破滅に導いたと言われている。あなたはマルペルシュロについて何か聞いたことある？カラス。
いや、特に何も。
そう。私は帝都でゲルドブレイムが極秘で何か危険な計画を進めていると知っていろいろと調べていたの。そして計画の大事な鍵となるらしい例のペンダントを盗んで逃げ出したのよ。あの森に何か恐ろしいものが眠っているということまではなんとかつかめたんだけど。それがまさかマルペルシュロの力だったなんて。お願い、協力してカラス。なんとかして皇帝の陰謀を暴いて彼の計画を阻止しないと。もし本当にマルペルシュロが呪われた邪神が復活してしまったらこの世界は終わりを迎えるわ。私一人の力ではどうしようもない。ねえお願いカラス。
断る。帝国が何をやらかそうが世界がどうなろうがそんなこと俺の知ったことじゃない。第一協力しろったって帝国相手にどうしようって言うんだ。シェラお前一人で。
それは。
はっ、冗談じゃない。一緒に死んでくれる仲間を探してるっていうのなら他を当たってくれ。俺は帝国に喧嘩を売って無駄死にする気はない。
I said this the first time through this sequence, but like, this actually makes sense.
なあ、お前もそう思うだろ。本気かよ。いくらお前がそう言ったって今度ばかりはごめんだぜ。
ディアデムやアヌエヌへ他の国の人々にゲルドブレイムの計画のことを知らせれば。きっと一緒に立ち上がってくれるはずだわ。
本気で言ってるのかそれ。お前の話を聞いて他の国のお偉方が帝国相手に一緒に戦ってくれるって。 小娘一人の言葉に動かされて諸国の王やリーダーたちが寝言は寝てからにしてくれよ。ま、好きにすればいいさ。お前はお前の道を行けよ、シラ。俺は俺の敵を追う。それと分かってるだろうが、なるべく早くこの地を離れた方がいいぞ。お前はもう帝国に歯向かう立派なお尋ね者ってことになってるだろうからな。
お前はじゃなくて私たちはでしょ。それにカラス、あなたの仇っていうあのジャコモって男も帝国の人間じゃないの？
それとこれとは話が違う。俺はジャコモを追ってるんであって帝国全体を敵に回してるわけじゃない。いくら俺でもそこまでバカじゃない。じゃあなシェラ、縁があったらまた会おうぜ。
ちょっと待ってよ。この大陸からは雲の国ディアデム行きの定期船しか出てないわよ。あなたもこの国を離れるんだから、どうせそこまでは一緒でしょ。
Yeah, it's this, as I said, on the HD version, this particular screen with, like, the double clouds, it just goes... That's weird. I feel like the audio for the fireplace should be coming out of the left channel, but it's coming out of the right channel. The cloud effect still looks gorgeous. I don't think there's anything else we need to... Ah! You hang on to the pickup line for too long, it turns out outdated pickup line. I did not realize that. That's kind of amusing, actually. Who is it that I spoke to get that? Was it you? Oh, I see. We're in the, that weird state of like, pseudo being pursued. perspective. This is what I was saying here. The credit to the HD edition. It's a lot easier to tell like how many level ups you've got in the bank. Like with this, I got no idea. Also, someone was talking about a Wizardry remake? Did that come out already? So I've never played any of the Wizardry games, and I feel like that's a stain against my like JRPG-ness. Ignoring the fact that they're not JRPGs, but they had a massive influence on the JRPG genre. I think we're all done here. I don't think there's anything else we need to do side quest wise.
ディアデム行き定期船まもなく出港いたします。お乗りの方はお急ぎください。
急ぎましょう、カラス。
いたぞ。こっちだ、急げ。
見つかったか。
走りましょう。
出港します。なあ、ちょっと聞きたいんだが、帝国行きの船はどこから出てるんだ？
Oh, yuck! It's early access! The Wizardry remake. Well, no mind, scratch that. That's disappointing. Yeah, basically. I mean, yeah, that's like not like I've not got plenty of other things to be getting on with.
帝国へ行きたいなら城下町へ行くんだな。町なら大きな港がある。このナシラと行き来があるのはフェルカドの商人の小舟ぐらいなもんだよ。
I just, yeah, early access always makes me go, bleh.
そうか。わかった。ありがとう。
私も王様に会いに城へ行くから、もうしばらくは一緒に行動するってことになるわね。でもその前に、ねえカラス。ちょっと村によって何かいいアイテムでもないか見ていき。
あ、そうだな。
I do really like the aesthetic of this. The game as a whole, I suppose, would be the way to think of that. I always like the sky, game taking place on floating islands and whatnot. This aesthetic, it's real good. Monolith Soft certainly knows how to do islands in the sky. So they've done it a few times. That's CC2 rather than Monolith. And it's not just like Fuga, it's their whole Little Tail Bronx franchise. Tales Concerto, Solitaire Robo, and Fuga are all good. It's a good floating island setting. I really like it. Especially on the back end of Solitaire Robo, where we actually got to go down underneath the clouds. That's always a fun bit when you're doing a floating island setting. What happened to the planet below? Also the Artanelico franchise. Fuga 2 will happen eventually. This is another thing, I feel like a lot of the objects, fit in better in this rather than the HD edition. And there's also some weird oddities with some of the objects in the HD edition where their, textures don't load properly. Oh, nice. He's dying and he wants to, die surrounded by his family. Keep in mind, can we pull up the family tree? There is a lot of questionable stuff going on in this family tree. So while the initial outset might seem kind of dark, there's and that just the clouds just sort of blowing off the building. It's just really good. I like it a lot.
あれを見ろ。
あの人が着ている服、もしかして。
ああ、ここからじゃよく見えないが、帝国の軍服みたいだな。
There's a lot of like, how to put it, like see-through effects that definitely look better on the GameCube version than that HD version, like with the sail here. The opacity, something like that. Right, lack the vocabulary to properly describe things. It's frustrating.
あそこに止まってるのも多分帝国製のボートだ。
あれは竜道のセールボートだよ。帝国製の最新式さ、一括だろ。
おい、その竜ドってのは帝国の人間なのか？
そうだよ。帝国から来た偉い大使様なんだ。すげえだろ。
やはり帝国の人間か。まさか俺たちを追ってこの村へ来たなんてことはないだろうな。
ええ、いくらなんでも早すぎる。でも気をつけた方がいいわね。なんだ？兄ちゃんたち悪人？帝国の兵隊に追われてるのか？
Did Project Moon kick the beehive again?
違う。
I'm not sure, Fab.
ただ帝国の怖いおじさんたちがちょっと苦手なだけだ。
ま、兄ちゃんはともかくそっちの姉ちゃんは悪い人には見えないしね。気をつけていきなよ。ええ、ありがとう。さあ行きましょう、カラス。
I'm going through the text a little faster than normal because we've seen all this already. We're not quite caught up to where we were on the HD version. Nearly there. In what context? Like, is it in Ogre's mob way, but also, like, the bears are good? As in, Alshira, or, what's, Vivoldon, the armadillo? Jinoga is probably my favorite of the, like, if I had to pick one Monhan monster. Alrighty then. Well, there's bear, armadillo, and bunny are your, 3 species of bear. I don't know if there's any more subspecies these days.
遠い遠い昔、世界にまだ海があった頃、人は翼を持たず、動かない広い地面の上で暮らしておりました。海というのはこの国なんかすっぽり飲み込んでしまうくらいとても大きくとても深い水たまりのことですよ。そして海にはクジラというこれまた大きな大きな魚が住んでおりました。クジラは世界と同じくらい年寄りで、いつも不思議な優しい歌を歌っていたと言います。
それで海はどうなったの？クジラはどうしたの？
悪い神様が海の水を一滴余さず飲み干してしまったのです。その時クジラもごくりとひと飲みにされてしまいました。覚えておき、悪い神様の名はマルペルシュロ。 その後自分が飲み干した海で溺れて死んでしまったとさ。けれどクジラはいつも私たちと一緒にいます。ほら、こうして耳を澄ませば聞こえてくるでしょ、クジラの歌が。人はいつかきっとまた海を取り戻す。その時の来るのを
I mean, given it's a monolith soft
じ
game.
っと待っているってね。はい、どっとお払い。口は災いのもと。用とも陰ともつかぬ者には余計なことは知らせぬ方が良いでしょう。気をつけましょう。
なあばあさん、そんな占いより今の話。悪い神様マルペルシュロが海を飲み干したって。
はただの昔話さ。詳しいことは私も知らないよ。
チェ、なんだよ。
さあ、それでは王の城へ急ぎましょう。
Mhm. Advantage of knowing somewhat of what's coming up. insert the discussion about official spies here. Here, have an outdated pickup line. Had I known that the pickup line turned into an outdated pickup line, I would have got it later, but...
いらっしゃい。あら、あんたたち見ない顔ね。私はこの酒場の女将、アナって言うんだ。よろしくね。定期船できたのかしら？
ああ、そうだよ。
それじゃサダルスードから来たんだね。遠いところからようこそ。まあ何もない村だけどゆっくりしてってね。
いや、ゆっくりってわけにもいかないんだ。この国の都にちょっと急ぎの用事があってね。
あら、そうなの。だったら随分と間が悪い時に来ちゃったね、あんたたち。知ってるかもしれないけど、商店街っていう川が溢れてて都への道は通れなくなってるのよ。珍しいこともあるもんだよ。商店街の反乱なんてそうそうお目にかかれるもんじゃないんだけどね。
道が通れないなら船は？次の都への定期便はいつ出るのかな？
残念だけど都への定期便は出てないのよ。漁師の誰かに頼んで乗せてってもらうしかないんだけど、ちょっと難しいかもね。ここの漁師はよそ者を船に乗せるのを嫌がるし、近頃は不漁続きでみんな苛立ってるからね。
か私たちを乗せていってくれそうな人に心当たりはないでしょうか？できるだけ早く都に行かなくてはならないんです。少しぐらいならお礼もできるのですが。
あんたたちそんなに急ぎのようなの？そうだね。ならギバリに頼んでみたらどうだい？あの人なら引き受けてくれるかもね。
ギバリ？その人はどこに？
今日はまだ顔を見せてないけど、じきに現れると思うわよ。しばらくしてからまた店に来てみて。それとも一杯やって待ってる？
いや、そいつは遠慮しとく。わかった。それじゃあまた後で寄るよ。
おや、皆さんはこの村の方ではないようですね。旅の方ですか？
あ、はあ、そんなとこだよ。
そうですか。私はこの村のものではありませんが、どうぞゆっくりしていってください。この村はとても良いところですから。私も都の大使館を離れて、ここで過ごすことが多いんですよ。華やかな都より、こちらの村の方が性に合うんです。
大使館、やはりあなたは帝国の。
ええ、帝国の大使、リュウドと言います。でも、特務大使なんて名ばかり。体のいい厄介払いですよ。昔から我が国とディアデムとの関係はそう友好的なものではありません。現在だって国家間の交流なんて
Even
ないに等しいと言っていい
even
くらい
in
で
the
すから。
original version, this portrait of his is just like Jesus Christ, 420 plays it.
初めの頃は村の人にスパイじゃないかと疑われたくらいですよ。それに、そもそも帝国の人間は他国の人のことなど気にも留めちゃいません。まあ、そんなわけで感触なんですよ、実際。
His eyes are like glowing red. Just if you want to actually point of comparison, I have the image. Aha! We can do one-to-one comparisons. Hey, they turned the picture. They flipped it. Also, I was right. Fucking, I wasn't going mad. There's no opacity. There's no. It's just a hard color in HD. Look at that. I'm just doing like direct back and forths for my own sake now. I'm curious. And yeah, like look at the boats as well. Just like they feel out of place in the HD version. I'm glad I've got some of these shots for just doing like direct comparisons. This has actually worked out quite well. Alright, just bear with me as I'm just flicking back and forth. That is Giacomo? Not Giacomo. Other bloke that we're here to find. That's his boat, so. Okay, he needs a. That's gonna be something we're gonna have to do later then. We need to cook him a proper pickup line, but we need to... it's a bit of a chain. We need to get a pressed flour.
ああ、あんたたちかい？ギバリはまだ来てないみたいね。そろそろ顔を見せる頃なんだけど。
なんだお前たち、ギバリを探してるのか？あいつに何の用だ？
ああ、ちょっと都まで乗せてってもらおうと思ってさ。あんたは？
俺はレブリスってんだ。村の漁師たちのまとめ役みたいなもんさ。残念だったな。この村にはよそ者を乗せるような船はないぜ。
おやめよ、旅の人に絡むのは。
け、誰が絡んでるって？ただでさえこのところ不良続きだってのに。ナギがどっぷり腰を落ち着けちまってニッチもサッチもいかねえ。これでさらに奴によそ者なんか船に乗せられた日には余計魚に嫌われちまうわ。この村の人間は昔からそういうことはきっちりしてるんだ。それがギバリの野郎だけは迷信だと鼻で笑ってちっとも気にしやしねえ。一人でやりたいようにやって本人はいい気なもんなんだろうが、ま、そうだろうみんな。
そうだそうだ。
お前たちも都なんか行かずに乗ってきた船で引き返しちゃどうだ、田舎へ。
なんだと？
それが嫌なら商店街が静まって道が通れるようになるまでのんびり待つんだな。
レブリスの言う通りだ。よそ者は引き返すかじっとしてろってんだ。
俺はギバリと話をしに来たんだ。 お前たちの船に乗せてくれと頼んでるわけじゃない。
小僧、わからねえらしいな。こっちが下手に出ておとなしく言い聞かせてやろうと思えば。待ちなって。どうやらその連中は俺の客らしいじゃないか。あ？キワリ、何か俺に言いたいことがあるならいつだって話は聞くぜ、レブリス。チェ、勘弁してやってくれ。みんなここんとこの不良となぎでイライラしてやがるんだ。
ああ、気にしちゃいない。あんたがギバリか。
そうだ。で、なんだい俺に用ってのは。
都まで船で乗せて行ってほしい。
シェリアクまで？ああ、雲の道は今通れねえからな。
お願いします。できるだけ早く城へ行かなくてはならないのです。
何やら訳ありみたいだな。ちょうどいい。なあお前たち、ちょっと俺に手を貸さないか。商店街の様子を見に行こうぜ。ちょいと気になってたんだ。どうして商店街が荒れてるのか。村の連中は怖がってあそこへは行きたがらねえしな。
I assume you mean Waka and not quite? Maybe? He's a bit more stacked than Waka.
ああ。
Also a lot older.
心配するなって。3人もいりゃなんとかなるだろうよ。そっちのお嬢ちゃんもそこらの野郎なんかよりよっぽど頼りになると見たが。
I need to stream Final Fantasy X at some point. Well, Waka post time skip has a kid. That's a thing. What happened? Final Fantasy X-2 is a thing.
気に入ったぜ。そうこなくっちゃ。まあ。もし行ってみて、俺たちだけじゃどうにもできねえってことになったら、そん時はちゃんと船で送ってやるから心配するな。
どうする？そうか。よし。じゃあ引き受けるとするか。
ん？何一人でブツブツ言ってんだ？
独り言じゃない。俺はこいつと精霊と話してたんだよ。
精霊付きか。別の世界の命が宿るっていう。
Unfortunately, Sion, I'm gonna be a giant asshole and we're gonna basically stop where we stopped in the HD edition, because, like, I wasn't intending to stream at all tonight. This was supposed to be my, like, night off, but...
信じる信じないはあんたの勝手さ。そんなことは俺にはどうでもいい。さあ、行くんだろう、商店街。俺はカラスだ。
Just happened that the work finished up earlier than I expected tonight, and I was really... I did want to do, like, a GameCube versus HD edition comparison.
私はシェラ。
よし、よろしく頼むぜ、カラス、シェラ。で、その精霊ってのは。変わった名だな。
Ooh, I'm a spooky.
それじゃあ、あんたもよろしくな。さあ、騒動決まれば港へ行こうぜ。俺の船で商店街まで案内する。
Yeah, this is basically where we were up to. Sans like an hour dying in the wrong place. How old is he actually? 34, okay. I mean, you joke, Fab, but like, we need to have the Persona 4 discussion. Yeah, I think we will stop here. As I said, like I hadn't intended to stream tonight. We got a 3-hour stream in, so that's not too bad to start off with. And I think I've sort of made my point with regards the HD edition versus the GameCube edition. I definitely personally prefer the GameCube edition. What was I gonna say? I think that's it, really. If you want to, there's a Twitter poll up there if you want to throw in the vote, but it does seem to largely agree with me. People seem to be mostly voting for the GameCube version as well, so that's nice to know at least that most people are feeling the GameCube version as well, though. So that I think I will ponder version until the next stream, which will be sometime tomorrow night or tonight. Yeah, tonight. But yeah, I think we're probably sticking with the GameCube version. I definitely it feels better, it looks better, it's just better. Yeah. Anyway, for now, that is all. Thanks for watching, everyone, and hopefully I'll see you all next time. Oh shit, wrong button.
Bye bye.
There we are. Bye bye.